Hi everybody, Wendy from Cinnamon Sweet Shop. It's been a while since I've done a baking video, partly because I was traveling and other things. I'm not really going to go into it now, but I am going to be making a brownie cookie, also known as a brookie. And this recipe is also going to be vegan, plus there are some unique ingredients that I will be using. But what you'll need: almond flour. I am using real organic cane sugar. You could use a stevia blend or any other kind of natural sweetener, no artificial sweeteners. One of the ingredients, aquafaba. For more information on this, you could check out the link I have below. I'm not really going to explain a whole lot about it. I will tell you, this is vegan. It comes from the brine of chickpeas. Coffee flour. I did a video a while ago about coffee flour, which I also have linked below. Now, coffee flour is not coffee beans that are just ground up to a flour. It comes from the fruit that surrounds the coffee bean, and they dry it out and then they make a flour out of it. The reason that's so important is with the coffee flour you still get a really robust coffee flavor, but there's no caffeine in coffee flour. So it's a very good option. It's a little difficult to get. Have it linked below where you can buy some. I'm using a bittersweet chocolate. You could combine it with, if you want, with a semi-sweet, half and half, or use all semi-sweet. Wheat flour, whole wheat flour, not whole wheat pastry flour, whole wheat flour. Cornstarch. Little bit of baking powder, and I have some coconut oil. So to start, you want to take a pot with about 1 inch of water and bring it to a simmer. Then on top, in another bowl, I'm going to place my chocolate and my coconut oil in here. This is what we call a double boiler or a bain-marie. You don't really want the bowl to touch the water. Just let it sit here and mix it or stir it around from time to time just until it melts. Once your chocolate is completely melted, it'll be a little bit thin, just remove it from heat and put it to the side for a moment. In a separate bowl, I'm going to mix together the almond flour, the cornstarch, the wheat flour, the baking powder, and the coffee flour. Just give it a real quick stir. Now I have my aquafaba in a glass bowl. It's completely clean. There's no grease residue in it. And I'm using the hand mixer with the whisk. We want to beat these until they're stiff peaks. Make sure your bowl is grease free. The grease will prevent it from making those stiff peaks. And this is going to take a little bit of a while. If you're used to beating egg whites, this may take a little longer. You'll know when these are stiff when you turn the bowl and they just don't, and they stay there. If you ever turn this upside down, it wouldn't fall out. So at this point, we're not done beating. We're going to start adding the sugar in. So I'm going to add it in about a tablespoon at a time. Just put a tablespoon, then beat it up, then just keep adding it, doing it again, adding another tablespoon, beating that in until the sugar's gone. So at this point, we want to slowly and gradually fold in the flour mixture. So I'm going to take about 1/3 of it and just fold it in. Don't stir it in. We don't really want to deflate the aquafaba too much. Now add in the melted chocolate. And again, just gently fold this in until it's just well incorporated. I have my baking pan with a silicone mat on here. You could also use some parchment paper. Spray it real well. And I'm using a tablespoon because I'm not going to make these cookies overly large. You can if you want. You'll notice the batter's a little thin compared to some of the other cookies that we make. So you want to make sure that they're separated fairly at least about an inch or two on the cookie sheet, or else they'll run into each other. Just going to place that down there. I'm going to bake these in a 350 degree oven for about 10 to 12 minutes. That's going to depend on the size. Always check them after maybe 8 minutes just to see, because your oven could be calibrated differently than mine. These are very soft, thin, great tasting cookies. Don't forget the recipe is at my website, which I do have linked below. Check out my other YouTube videos and subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you all next time.